Kids will like it.
What? No. Okay. Well, welcome everybody who's here. This is disappointing. I'm happy you're here, but it's disappointing that not more of you are here because there's a big list of helpers, and nobody told me they weren't coming really. So that's just the way it is. And the problem is they need to do a training. So we'll have to figure that out. But I am glad you guys are here because this makes our job easier if you are here to get trained and know what exactly is happening the week up. Riley already asked, can I wear an apron like me? This is actually for our station leaders. So our station leaders will be all wearing aprons this year. We thought they were kind of cool. And Joanne, you'll get one too from the stage. So I'm just going to open up the night in prayer before we start. Thank you, Lord, for a beautiful night. Thank you for Vacation Bible School that's starting in just over a month away. And thank you for all these volunteers that are here to make this happen. And just thank you for working in their hearts, Lord, to sign up and be part of this exciting week. And continue to work on families, Lord, as they think about whether their kids should come, that they will sign up and bring them here, and that we will just have an amazing week, Lord, and that these kids will just find out so much about your creation and how they are a unique creation by you and so loved, Lord. So just bless our evening tonight in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Jane, who is doing our risk training. And nope. So you have to use the mic, though, so here you go.
Okay, I've looked a little bit at the topic for your VBS. I don't participate in it, but it looks like it's really exciting, and I like the creative part of it, just where you can develop some of those ideas, so that'll be really, really cool. So my role is to be here just to tell you the same old information. And so we have to do that. And this is about what's expected during VBS and also in our churches. So it's no different from anything else you've heard. And so we're wanting to protect the children from anything happening to them. And we're wanting to prevent situations where there can actually be an incident or an allegation of something that might or might not have happened. And in our society, we have people who prey upon children for their own needs and interests and whatever. We also have needy children. You know, we have a lot of children, maybe not so much in this community, but they do exist, that are needy for attention because they don't get it at home. The parents work, they work shifts, children feel like they're left out, and so forth. So you have children who will do things that others might not do just to get attention, and that's where you can get allegations. And then we also have parents who might pick up on something that their child says, and right away they're looking at, well, I can make fast money on this, we're going to sue. And you think, well, that's rather extreme, but it excuse me, it does happen. So the cardinal rule for all of this is try not to be alone with the children. You know, children will gravitate to different places in the church where you might find yourself alone, but just try to move them back out into a more public area where others can see what's going on. And that reduces the opportunity for there to be allegations that you did this or you did that. We know that there's different kinds of abuse, but in the church what we're looking at are mainly allegations of sexual abuse and neglect, where children aren't properly supervised and something happens. I just got an email last week from a famous church in the States, from Saddleback, and they have very rigid protocols there for screening all of their volunteers. But they had a recent incident where, well, it's under investigation, but where one of the youth volunteers allegedly did something inappropriate with two 14-year-old boys, and Saddleback is just beside themselves because they have had protocols in place and thinking, how could this have happened when we're so careful? So my point is that we can't be too careful because these things just catch us off guard. The other thing is that sometimes things don't actually happen, but it's perception of what happens. Somebody hears something. You know that if there were a conversation going on, I would hear certain things, you would hear certain things, and our stories of that same conversation might not be the same. So perception of actions, where I see a little boy who's sitting on a leader's lap, and I don't know, it just seemed to be sitting there to me, but somebody else who was on the far side thought, oh, something happened there that shouldn't have happened. And it's about perception. The little boy himself might have a perception of, well, that my leader touched me, or, you know, the leader thought he just gave a hug, but the little boy said, well, my leader did this or did that. So it, again, is about perception. And we want to be sure that what actually happens is what actually happens, so that there aren't a whole lot of distorted impressions about what various actions have meant. The example that I usually use is when somebody would give a compliment to a child about they're pretty, or they're, oh, I like your dress today, or, you know, and that can be received as, oh, they like my dress, or they're looking at me. Why is that male leader looking at me to make a comment about my physical appearance? That's perception. We also know that in a group setting, these kids are excited. They're glad to be here, they want to have fun, and that they're all over the place. They're jumping and running, and we need to find a way to keep a handle on those kinds of situations so that kids don't get hurt. And I don't want everybody to think I'm paranoid about kids getting hurt. Kids are going to be kids. But in terms of our supervision of them, the expectation by parents is that they've sent them here and that the child will be safe throughout the whole program. I'll give you an example. On the weekend we had an overnight here, and the kids, the teenagers, found a cart in the storage room where they weren't supposed to be in the storage room to begin with, but this cart is used to move tables. And so what better thing to do than everybody to hop on the cart, and we'll have a twirl around the gym, and you know, we have 4 pushing and 6 riding on it, and you know, it's great fun. Kids don't have an appreciation for potential injury, and that's where we as adults have to say that's not a safe thing to be doing. And I had to ask them to get off the cart and put it away. So those are times when if you see things happening, in order that we don't appear negligent in our supervision of kids, you have to step in and say something. They won't like you, I know that, but and then not only saying to them, you can't do this and you can't do that, but it's telling them what they can do so that they know now is the time that we're going to sit in a row. Everybody sit side by side. You're not to be touching each other or whatever the instruction is. Because I know even with my own children, I used to say to them, don't do this and don't do that. And it was only when I read the parenting books that it reminded me, you know, well, you're supposed to tell them what they're supposed to do. So then they know how to comply. Leaders role model for the kids. So if they see you doing certain things, they'll want to do it. And if you're engaged in the program, they're going to want to be engaged in what's going on. If you're goofing off with other leaders because you've forgotten that this time is not about you in your social life, then the kids are going to follow suit and think that if you can do it, they can do it too. In terms of the children crawling all over you and being on your back and on your laps and trying to jump up, I mean, particularly for the boys. I don't know if they do it for the older girls, but the kids will try to, you know, be on you. And for purposes of perception, we just want to keep away from that. So encourage the kids to sit beside you, or, give them a high five, but don't be piggybacking them and, lifting them up to show how strong your muscles are. This is for the boys there. Or other things that would bring proximity of their body closer to yours. Okay? Because it isn't actually what happens, it's the perception of what might be said happened. As far as taking the kids to the bathroom, it's inevitable. Somebody's got to pee all the time. And kids who are in grade 1 and up can go to the bathroom by themselves. And I'm assuming that there's a hall monitor, and somebody can be just keeping an eye out on the washrooms down there. But they use the washrooms by themselves in the school, and they can do it here. The younger children in the JKSK area, I'm assuming they would use the washrooms there in the room. Is that right? No, Lynn? Oh, you're not. Okay. All right, that's fine. Also, if you're needing equipment, you need to go upstairs to storage areas or whatever. Younger leaders, don't take children with you. And in fact, the adults shouldn't really be directing you as youth helpers to go into those areas. And it's great to want to help make a job lighter for the leader, but we have certain storage areas that are restricted to adults only here. Also, I would encourage the adult leaders to communicate well with each other so that I'm stepping out of the room, I've got to go to the main office to get a stapler, I'll be back in a minute or whatever, so that the other leaders aren't oblivious to the fact that, well, you're now gone, and these kids have nobody who's giving them any direction. So, or whatever other communication needs to happen. We're moving now from here to there and whatever, so that the leaders, who will all, of course, be listening really attentively, will know what's to happen, because the kids are only going to follow you. And that helps to keep them safe and reduce chaos and running in the halls and that sort of thing. So basically, when we come down to it, don't be alone with the kids. Keep your bodies apart. Be aware of perception. And be aware that it's all about prevention, so that we don't have any allegations and any actual situations where something happened. And we're proud of the fact that in the years we've been doing this program in our church anyway, we haven't had to deal with anything through the legal system. So things are going well, and we want to keep it that way. Are there any questions or comments? You people are the ones who are in the program and know where there could be pitfalls that I might not be aware of. Is there anybody else who wants to make a comment about something you've observed is routinely an issue? Or Joyce, do you have anything? You'll be adding some things? Okay. Yes? You can do a side hug. You can do high fives. You can give them a pat on the head. Avoid front to front. Okay? Remember, it's about perception. It's about what the child will say. So sure, we don't want you to think that you have to stay away from them completely. They're here to be engaged and to have a relationship with you. So we have to be balanced in that area. Yeah. First aid, if a child has a little boo-boo on their finger, like, if you apply a Band-Aid, we usually do an incident report. Anything where we use first aid. If you apply ice to a kid's head where they forgot to stop at the wall and got a bump, then that's first aid. But, generally we don't go into any more depth than that. Of course, if somebody falls because they've been tumbled or tripped in a game and it's something more serious, their arm is hurting, or it might be necessary to remove them from the game. What Marv and I have often found with children is that, their limb is just like almost broken. And then next thing you're asking them, would you want to just sit out for it? No, I want to go back in the game. So it just can be an indicator that, they aren't as seriously hurt as maybe they let on at first. So you have to kind of use some judgment about that. So an incident report, anytime that you actually do something, and there's a first aid kit in the office at the front, down on the bottom shelf, and there's one on top of the fridge in the kitchen. And I'll check those before VBS just to make sure there's lots of Band-Aids. Okay. Anything else? Marv, do you have any comments that you think are? No? All right. Okay, so Joyce is probably going to add some things about you as youth leaders and what her expectations are. And so I hope you have a wonderful time and enjoy the program.
Thanks, Jane. Okay. So I've got these balloons up here. I thought I got to do something different this year. Every year it's the same old thing, like Jane said. And my girls are like, do we have to come again? I've done this so many times. And right back there. And you know it. I am so thankful for you guys that have been doing this year after year. And it shows you're loving it, which is awesome. It shows you want community hours, which is awesome. And this is a great way to do it. And we're glad that you're here. So I was going to draw names to force you up here, but I'm going to first see if I have any volunteers who would like to pop a balloon. And inside the balloon is a question that you're going to answer. So who's brave enough to come up here and do that? Okay, Ethan, come on up. You like popping balloons. There you go. There's a thumbtack. Pick anyone. Sure. And then pick up, there's a question inside.
How many years have you helped at VBS? 0.
It's his first time. Woohoo! Ethan, yes. Thank you. First timers. Any other first timers here? 1, 2. Great. Even adult first timers. I think that's awesome too. Wow. Good. Well, welcome to VBS. So this is awesome. Okay, any other volunteers? See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Okay, come on. Go for it.
How long have you helped at VBS?
Oh, it's the same question.
0.
0. She put up her hand. She's a first timer too. So, woo! Okay, there's no more like that. Okay, next. Renee, you're usually eager. Come on up. I know. Yeah.
What is your favorite part of VBS? I think I had this question last year. Yeah. For me, it's the building of relationships with the kids. I usually try to be with the oldest kids because when I do Jube during the year, I'm with the oldest kids, so it just kind of continues the connection for me, either the ones that will be coming into Jube, into my group, or I've already had them, so I already know them a little bit. So the continuing and building of relationships.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anybody else? Joanne. Although you're a music leader, you might have a bit of a hard time answering one of the questions. We'll see. Here you go. Yeah.
I don't have my reading glasses.
Oh no.
See how big it is. What is your favorite part of VBS? Leading the music. No, I just love the energy and praising God, right, with the kids and teaching how they can have fun doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. We're glad Joanne's back again this year to lead us in worship. It's awesome. That is a great part, is the worship. Riley. I saw that hand. There you go.
How do you see God work at VBS?
This your first time as a leader? Okay. How is a kid coming to VBS? Did you see or feel God here?
During the songs?
During the songs, in worshiping Him. Awesome. So during worship, sensing God's presence. And that's awesome, Riley. Aaron, okay, come on up.
What is your favorite age group? I don't know.
What kind of kids are you hoping to work with?
I don't know.
Well, you're working with good children. That's a good one. I like that one. Well, you're going to be checking out the JKSKs this year, Aaron, so you'll find out if that's an age group you really enjoy or not. So, okay. Some of us have favorites, like Renee said. I like getting the older kids and working with them every year. Okay, an adult. Beth, you're smiling nicely. Come on up. Thank you.
Oh, what is one of your favorite God creations? Kids. Children.
Awesome. Oh, we're going to be talking about God creations. It's fun makers, fun factory is our theme. So we're going to be talking a lot about creation and creating and how God created us to be so unique and creative. So, okay. Anybody else? Marv, come on up. I know you'd rather throw a dart, see if you can make it, eh? Mm-hmm.
Get it open here.
I know. I have to fold them small. Here we go.
All right. What are you looking forward to? You know, it's the enthusiasm of the kids, really. That's so cool. And one thing I always think of at the end of the year is, I mean, the songs are great, and every year it seems to be a better part of it. But I like to hang out with the kids in the game time because it breaks through the barriers. So that's one of the key things. Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward to games. Inga, come on up, game leader. So games are an awesome way. And even for you leaders to connect to the games with the kids.
Favorite snack at VBS? Rice Krispies are always good.
Okay, Rice Krispie Squares. Well, you're in luck. That's on the list again this year. Last one. She'd kill me if I made her come up here. Tanya, come on up. Yeah, last one. There you go. Good.
Why did you volunteer for VBS? Because I love it. I love it just as much as the kids love it.
That's cool. I like that answer. It's awesome. She loves it as much as the kids do. And my sheet of paper disappeared. Can I borrow yours, Catherine? Thanks. Okay, so for you guys that are new, there's quite a few of you that are doing this for the first time, But did all of you come to VBS? So you guys know what we do all the time, right? So that's the awesome thing too. You've come to VBS and now you're helping. So I think that's great. Okay. We're at this church again, and some of you might be wondering, why are we at LEMC? When last year we were at LEMC, but Bethel is going under some renovations, and so that's why we can't be there this year. So next year we are so looking forward to using Bethel with its new rooms and much more room for us. Lynn's going to love it for the little kids and everything. It'll be looking forward to that next year. So this year we're at LEMC again. This year, we're actually going to have Monday morning, everybody's going to come into the gym. So they won't be coming through these doors. They're going to come into the gym because there's way more room there. And parents have to, at LEMC, they have to sign their kids in officially the first day that they've registered. Online registration is not allowed yet as a form of consent. So they have to, parents have to come in and actually physically sign their sheets. And then the kids get their name tags, and they also get a tattoo right away. So the tattoo will be their group. So if they're a crab, they get a crab tattoo, and hopefully it stays on for the whole week. They don't scrub it too much. But anyway, so that's all going to happen in the gym, and we'll need some volunteers there. I might get some extra volunteers, but just to help put tattoos on the kids and stuff. Then they're going to come in here, and then we're going to have some fun stuff up on the screen between 8:30 and 9 for kids to keep them engaged until we start at 9 o'clock. So you're supposed to be here at least 8:20 to make sure you have your bag. And that first morning is when you just sit where if you're a crab, you sit in the crab section. If you're a Skylar the bird, you're going to be sitting in the bird section. And you'll have a list of kids, but sometimes we add kids. So your group might change a little bit, right? So you don't know yet who your kids are. And it's okay, as long as all the crabs are sitting in the crabs and stuff, the kids are just going to be told to sit where their character is. And then the Monday morning, we end singing a little bit early so that I can call up all the groups and all the names. And if I call an extra name and you're like, that name's not on my list, what's going on? It means I added them. And so you just write their name on the list, attendance sheet, and that'll be the first morning. After that, every day they're going to hand in their name tags to you. So you have a bag, you have name tags, you hang it up on a hanger in the hallway. You guys can go. JKS case. Sorry. I'm like looking at you going, you guys are on a different information for me. Okay. So just a second. Okay, so Lynn, do you have a list that I gave you of people that are working with you? Okay, so if your name is called, you're leaving with Lynn because you're working with the JKS case. And it's a bit different, okay? Okay. Awesome. No, wherever you want to go. We'll go to the back and then find them. Sure. Okay. So the beginning part pertained to them. But anyway, so we'll keep going from now on. So at the end of your morning, you're going to be handing in your name tags, or they hand in the name tags to you. You put it in your bag, and you hang it up in the hallway somewhere on a hanger. The next morning, you have to go find that bag, and you bring it in here with you. You sit down in your group, and as kids come, you will give them their name tag. Okay? So that's how it's going to work the rest of the week. And, oh yes, which is usually Catherine's job. So you're going to go into the gym and get your attendance folder. Because we have to put new sheets in it every day. So you're going to hand in your folder at the end of the day. We'll have a table out in the foyer. You just set your folder on there. And then we've put in new papers. And so you have to pick that up the next day as well. Okay? Yes. In that folder will be your schedule for the week. So you'll be either going to Bible, and games or craft and kid vid or something like that. So, and then snack in the middle. But that's all in your folder and attendance. You'll also have, yes, same all week. You're also going to have little slips of paper for snack. So the first morning is tricky. So as I call you up here and you're like counting the kids in your group, you have to quickly on your snack paper write how many kids are in your group. And then you're going to go 5 plus 1, 1 meaning you. Okay, so then we know how many kids there are and how many leaders. Because some of you might have a friend co-leading with you, and so we need to know that. Because if you write down 6, we might be thinking, is that 5 kids or is that 4 kids? Because we don't always remember if you're co-leading with somebody, right? If your both names aren't on there or whatever. So it's easier for us if you just go 5 plus the leaders. And then you hand those in. And please hand them in before you leave the sanctuary. So usually Catherine will be standing at that door, and as you're going past her, give it to her, because otherwise we have to hunt you up afterwards, and we hate interrupting our station leaders. If they're in the middle of a story or whatever, we don't really want to go into the room. So make sure you do that right away in the beginning, okay? Any question? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes. But it's usually you're on your own as an adult. It's the youth leaders that are sometimes paired up with a friend. And they're leading together. Yeah. One adult. Yeah. Yeah. So each big group is made up of usually 6 or 7 little groups. And that big group travel together. So the crabs will have usually 1 or 2 adults, and the others will all be youth leaders, just because we tend to have more youth than adults. And then you go as a group to your station. So we start off with singing. So Joanne introduces the first little bit, and we sing, worship. Joanne wants to see you guys doing actions, okay? She's like looking at you guys too, and she's noticing. And kids notice you. They look at you as their example. So if you're standing there like this, they're gonna, I don't have to do the actions. And they look at you and say, okay, I don't have to do them, yay. Especially the guys will probably do that, you know. So if you have guys in your group, encourage them. Come on, let's do the actions, guys. You're never too cool for that. So do them with the kids. And then she'll do a skit every day. Joanne does a skit, and hopefully the kids will listen through that. We also are raising money. I haven't had a chance to figure that one out yet. We were going to raise money for Compassion Water Project, but then today I was talking to Catherine and Ella, and I was like, well, we're doing a fun factory. So wouldn't it actually be cool if we raised money for something that has to do with creating and making, and because we're doing factory stuff. So like we're going to look into that and maybe do like supporting third world countries with women that make jewelry and make stuff, or sewing machines or something that they need. We thought that's kind of maybe more unique to our VBS. And we've done water before, so we'll do something like that. So we're going to encourage the kids. This year, we're going to see how it works. We're going to do a bit of a competition. So we're going to have this group versus this group of the sanctuary, and we have to count the money and see which side can raise more. So we've never tried that, so we'll see how it goes this year. And hopefully, we always bring in a lot of money. I mean, God's faithful. He just works it out, and it's amazing how people are really giving during VBS. So, yes, so that'll be, I think, it for in here. And then you get called to your station. Now, in this church building, the unfortunate thing is we have 3 major events happening down that hallway. So it gets very crowded, okay? So you're going to be going out that door, and at the far end are 2 rooms. The one on the right is where Bible is, and Pastor Jeff is leading Bible. On the left is Kid Vid, which Pastor Carter, which is the youth pastor here, he's leading that station. And then the room on the left, as you're going there, is our craft room, and that's led by Mary. So those 3 rooms are very close proximity. So we really need you guys to hug walls, okay? So if you're walking towards Bible, hug the right wall. Don't let your kids be running on like down the middle or whatever. Just everybody try to stay on the right. Always stay on the right wherever you're going, okay? And just encourage your kids to do that. The hardest might be KidVid when you're leaving to go to games or crafts. We haven't made up the schedule yet, but so just try to keep your kids as not bumping into anybody or running. But it's fun down there, isn't it? Down that crowded hallway, yeah. So you can maneuver down there. Bible. If you're going to Bible, it's very important that you listen to Pastor Jeff and make your kids listen. That is an area where he does not need to be telling your kids to smarten up, right? Like, you really want to support him. And so you watch your kids, you make sure they're listening, not fooling around and whatever, so that he can just do his thing without interruptions and stuff. So encourage the kids. Yes, Melanie? Yes. Yeah, I can talk about that now, sure. Yes, you're going to typically have kids who will just not listen and whatever, right? And hopefully they will. Always have the one that you're having the most trouble with right at your side, right? So if you notice two that are always at each other, just always try to separate them, whether that's at snack time so they're not sitting beside each other. If you're circling up in KidVid, that they're not sitting beside each other, that the one is always beside you, or you can eyeball them very easy, like that. If you have kids hitting each other, we've had that before, and if that happens right away at the beginning of the week, you notice already friction between these two, let us know, because we can separate them, and we can put them in a completely different group so that they're not around each other. And it's important if you let us know the first morning, if you notice, because we'd hate to separate them later. If you're having major issues and this kid will just not do what you want him to do, and I can think of a couple who might be like that. We've learned, because we know some of these kids, if they're from this church, you've kind of noticed to just ignore them, let them be and do their thing, because you know they're not going to ever, because some have developmental issues, right? And things that they're dealing with. So we should just kind of, sometimes it's best to ignore because they're looking for attention, right? So they're just, as long as they're not hurting anybody and not disruptive, just let them fidget or do whatever. But if it's a really, like they're rebelling against you and not listening and they're being disrespectful, then send them to us and they get to sit with us. And you can use that as a warning. You can say, you can either sit here, give them a choice, right? You say, you can either be here with us and have a lot of fun and learning, or you can sit out with Joyce and Catherine where it's very boring. Because we're no fun, right? Like, we don't. We're not making this a fun time sitting out in the hall. We're usually busy doing stuff. So that's their choice. And you say, this is your choice. What do you want to do? And eventually you might have to send them to us. I think last year, I don't think we had anybody sitting with us, did we? One little one, especially JKSK is pretty hard. There's a child maybe who doesn't want to go with his group, and we ended up having to have them sit with us, but not for behavior really last year. So I'm hoping for an awesome year again, that these kids will just love it and participate. So yes, we're the last resource. Otherwise, and adults, support your youth helpers, because they might be having difficulty with certain kids and they don't know how to discipline and how to, so you can step in. Like if you notice something, or just try to help your youth leaders along and advise them if they need to or something. So, and youth leaders, you can also go to the adults in your big group, right? So you don't have to right away come to us. If you have an issue, you can just go, hey Marv, we've got this kid, should we do, or whatever, so. Okay, so so Bible, yeah, that's Pastor Jeff. KidVid is you're going to be watching a video. That's when you do some application stuff. That's where you might sit in a small group and you have to talk to your kids. And that's where some of you are introverts, and I'm so thankful for you that you chose to help at VBS, because I know that's out of your comfort zone. But this is the part where you do have to talk to the kids and lead discussion questions or whatever. So do your best, okay? And just go with it. They always instruct you well and everything. Every day you're going to get a buddy, and that is the theme buddy for the Bible point. And again, we're going to put them on chains. We have to figure that one out yet. Last year we did flashlights. So they're every day at KidVid you're going to get a buddy. It goes on some kind of a ring or something. We haven't figured that out yet. And it stays in the room. Do not take it with you in your bag or anything. And if you have like day 1, you've got all 5. Day 2, you only have 4 of your kids. fill up all 5 rings, because that kid might be there Friday and we want them to have all 5 buddies. Okay, so just take as many as are in your group and make sure they all get filled. Yes, Renee? Is it easier to keep them in your bags? Okay. That's from them being, that's mine. Sure. Well, we're not doing anything like that this year, but I know. They want their own, right? The one that they put on and whatever. Sure. So keep them in your blue bags. That's fine. That's a good way to keep track of them. Okay. And just make sure kids don't take them home with them. Okay. Sounds good. Craft. That's the tricky one because they've got 20 to 25 minutes in craft. And in that time, Mary has to give you instructions, tell you exactly how to do the craft. And that's when we need to get that craft done. Usually they're pretty simple because we do want them to get them done in 20 minutes. And so please help your kids because you're going to have a group, you might have grade 1s and 2s who need more help than the older. If your older kids are doing fine and you notice that like Rebecca has like 5 grade 1s and she can't help all of them, then if you've got older kids, let them be and help the little ones. Like feel free to just help whoever needs help in craft, okay? And make sure to get it done. And the craft should fit in your bag. So when the craft is done, they go into your bag and you carry it around. I think they're all carryable. I'm trying to think. So if not, we'll let you know what to do with them. But and clean up. If you can really help, like Mary will have 2 helpers in the room with her. But if there's some garbage or stuff, like just be cleaning up as kids are doing their craft, that would be helpful to them. Yeah. Grades 1 to 5. Yeah. So JKSK have their own craft. So yes. Yes, Janet. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so don't assume that you don't have to help or anything during craft time. That's part of building relationships again, right? You're there to cheer them on, tell them they're doing an awesome job, and like you're there to oversee your kids and encourage them, help them if need be, and participate. So yes. And there we go to games. This is an area where every year I tell you guys, please, please participate. I don't want to see adults standing. So Inga, get the leaders involved, right? We want them to interact with the kids or cheering them on or whatever. So I don't want the leaders hanging out, chatting while the kids are doing their thing. Like Marv says, it's a great time to really just interact with your kids and have fun with them. So games will be, you will always go into, Inga, if it's a beautiful day, do you want them to meet you outside? Would that be easiest? Probably, because that's where you're set up. So in the first, beginning of the morning, I think, if the weather's good and you're telling me I'm going to be outside, then I will tell you at the beginning of the morning, games is outside today. So you're going to go outside. And then if Inga decides, no, we're going to be inside, then I'll let you know that at the beginning of the morning. Yeah, should we do that? Okay. So we tend to love being outside. Last year I had a kid who was allergic to bees and did not want to go outside. So that was kind of a struggle to get him out there, but it went fine. So, so please, and snack. So you're going to go to 2 things and then you're going to go to snack. And the ladies 3 of the days, again, will be cookies just because it's an easy snack and kids don't mind cookies. And the other 2 days are going to be, I think, Rice Krispie Squares, fruit, and cheese and crackers and different things like that. So it has to be quick because you only have 10 minutes. And sometimes if you're coming from craft, you might end up in the gym at 10:30, right? Like sometimes a group doesn't have as much time eating. So then we want it to be a quick snack. But I find in the gym too, it's a noisy place. And it can be chaotic. So really, when you walk in, go sit in the gym somewhere, find a spot with your group, sit them down on the floor, like tell them to sit down, and then you as a leader are going to come up and get your snack. And you're going to tell the kitchen ladies your name or what color your tag is. So memorize the color of your snack tag, because that will help to know where your snack is, okay? And then you're going to carry that tray to your kids and sit on the floor with them if possible. If you cannot sit on the floor, we will provide a chair, because we do want the kids to be sitting. And they have to sit for those 10 minutes. Like, we don't want them as soon as they eat, run, be up and at them, right? Like, you want to engage them. The first day is a great way to start conversation. Ask about them, about their families, about what school they go to, what grade they're in. Like, really just get to know your kids. After that, we also have in your folder a page with your character on it, or the character of the day, and there's funny jokes on there, or questions, or trivia. Use those sheets, because so often I would be walking around and I see people just sitting there, and I'd be like, "Dear sheet, oh yeah, my sheet," right? Like, it's something to just do, because some of you, it's hard to have conversation, and you're trying to think, what do I say to these kids, right? But that's what the sheet's for. So it's like to just get the kids thinking, talking, have fun with them during snack time. But it is only 10 minutes, so as soon as the horn blows, you're out of there and you're going to your next station, okay? And we have to move fast. We don't have any time between stations, really. It's like get there ASAP. Any other questions about that? We're good? Okay. So yeah, pray already. We've got a month and a bit until VBS. So pray for your children that are coming into your group. Just pray over that week already ahead of time. And just really, hopefully build relationships with these kids and have fun with them. We've talked about discipline. I know, like Jane was saying, it's hard to not, the kids are huggy, right? Like, kids just love giving hugs and stuff like that. So she said, try to do a side hug, but just don't give them a bear hug back, right? Like, just lightly go, yeah, awesome that you're here, whatever. But it is hard. Kids just love that, to hug. So, or sit on your lap when you're circle time if you have the little ones. That's everything. So anyways, I hope you all got a t-shirt. If not, on your way out, you can still grab one. Make sure you write your name, and because we will go after you if we don't get them back, because we need them for next year. So come wearing it Monday morning and every day, already wearing your t-shirt. We're decorating Wednesday, July 5th. So if you're around and you're not on holidays and you're not working, July 5th at 10 o'clock, we're going to make decorations and start decorating the church too. And if we don't get that done, we will come back, I think, and finish decorating. The Wednesday night of VBS is going to be our parent program. It's different this year because we're the week of the fair this year, which we haven't had in a long time. So the fair has the parade on Thursday night, so we want to make sure that people can go to that. And so Wednesday night will be our program. So it's going to look a bit different because the kids don't really know the songs as well as an extra day on Thursday, but it's going to be a family night, and we're still going to do singing and do some fun stuff as families and stuff. And so that's going to be the Wednesday night. Friday, please tell your parents if your youth pick me up at 12:30. Okay? We need to stay and clean up, and this church has to look like it does now. So we have to tear everything down, put it away. So as many of you that can stay, the easier it is on us, and then we don't have to be here so long because we're all tired by Friday. We're all exhausted. So yeah, again, if you can be here at 8:20 every day, we're going to be opening in prayer together before the kids start coming. So be here at the latest. If you can't come till 1:45, that's fine, but don't come later than that. Like, we need you here by 1:45 for sure. Okay? So try to be here between 8:20 and 8:45. So starts at 9, and it's done at 11:30. So I was going to get you to do that. Sorry. I was going to say, Catherine, you can do part of this training for once. I forgot. Oh, my. Yes, that's a good idea. Friday, bring a shirt. We'll hopefully remind you on Thursday. so that you can change and leave this behind. We'll wash it. Okay, so then we don't have to go after you. Okay, we said till 8:30. Catherine, if you want to go instruct some of them already. So if you can stay till 8:30, that would be appreciated, because we've got some cutting to do and pre-cutting for crafts and decorations and stuff. And we thought, since you're here anyways, if we can at least give us a half hour of your time, and we'll see how much we can get done. So they're all set up in the gym, tables, scissors, and stuff like that. So, okay? Okay, well, thank you for coming out, guys. Appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you in a month. Okay.